We are doing editing basics in Premiere today. We're using the GIF edit story that we made and the GIFs that we gathered to start a new project. And so if you're with me and this is your first time in Premiere, it's the PR program. You can find it in the dock at the bottom or by hitting search on your Mac, that search button at the top, and typing Premiere until it comes up. Then in the dock at the bottom, you may want to right click and choose Keep in Dock because we'll be using it quite a bit. So, in getting ready for this project, we went and we found all the media that we thought we would need, and we gathered it into one folder. It's very important to do that with any project that you have because you don't want your folders all scattered around. If you got all your stuff scattered around and then something moves later when you have a project that you're trying to work on and you open up the project file, it's going to show files missing and you have to re-hunt those files down and relink them. It saves so much trouble just to save them into the folder and get it going. Now, as you can see, Premiere is taking a long time to start. So if you know you're going to be working in Premiere, you want to go ahead and get Premiere running as soon as you can to give it some time to load. So while we're waiting for it to load, I'll just talk to so you can see it's loading, it's coming. Trim the length of the clips to suit the scene. Okay, here we go. We got Premiere. You're going to select a new project, and you need to know where this project is going to go. So you need to hit Browse, and you need to put it in with all of your files that you've been saving for the project. So I'm choosing that folder, and I'm calling it Old Man GIF. Call it something that you're going to remember. So now I have it up. Usually when you first open Premiere, you're going to have learning. This is just, it sets up a panel that gets in the way. So we have different workspaces in Premiere, and the one we're going to use the most is editing. So just turn it over to editing. We are not going to use this essential graphics panel, so I'm just going to close that panel. Okay, this gives me as much space as I need, and you can move these boxes around, but all of our media that we need imports to right here. So I like to just pull up my window with my file, and I need to get the Old Man, all of my files, and I'm just going to drag them right into this project. So you want to drag everything except the project. It's going to send up a warning button if you drag the project. Okay, now here is where I get to see. Let's see, my story is about an old man who yells at kids running through his yard. So first I want to show the old man comfortable in his home. So where is that shot of? Here he's reading the newspaper. If I double click, it pulls up in the preview panel. And when you're using this preview panel, you could trim the media you have. Since we have GIFs, there's not much reason to trim. But later we'll get more into detail on how to trim. When you decide you want something, you can drag it down from here or drag it over from here. And it's going to change your project to fit the dimensions of the first file you drag in. So make sure that first file is in an arrangement that you think works for you. So we got him reading, and then we got him hearing a noise and getting annoyed. Maybe here. What's he doing here? Let's preview. Okay, we can do that. He hears a noise, and you can see I'm just dragging him down. This is the video track. He hears a noise, and then he goes to the window. See, I couldn't find a man going to a window. I found a man with a mirror. So what I decided to do is I found a window picture, and I'm going to put that on the track on top of the other one. Now I can see them both at the same time. I want to cut this, so I can use the blade tool to cut that, and you can see the quick key is C. So I'm cutting that, and I'm going to click and delete, and now I'm moving this to fit the whole thing, but I want to change the size of the window on top. So to change the size, I need to click this. Okay, I've seen some students, they double click, and you can adjust. But the one thing that's a problem with this picture is you can see this fills the screen, this doesn't. I think that's okay in this case, so I'll just leave it. But let's keep adding pictures. So we got the man. He is He's sitting and he's hearing something, and now he's looking out the window. We got to show what he sees out the window. So he sees some kids going through his yard, and then he's going to get upset about it. So here's the kids on the lawn. I'm going to drag this down here. Okay, you notice how we got that wildcrats right there? Let's see if we can make this bigger and just fill the screen with this. So I get rid of the wildcrats logo. Okay, good. So now I show the kids creeping through the yard. They're covering the whole screen. And what do we want to do next? We want to do his reaction shot. So he's looking out the window and blinking. And he's starting to yell. Oh, that's a nice zoom into that. I was thinking this could use a little bit of movement. In Premiere, if you right click and say scale to frame size, that should, or scale set to frame size, that may readjust so it fills the whole shot. Otherwise, you'll end up just needing to double click. Okay, that one fits. Wait, no, I'm not on it. You need to make sure your cursor's on whatever you're trying to look at so that you can be sure that you're seeing the whole, you're seeing what changes you're making. Okay, so we got this, but what if I want to zoom here? I can zoom by clicking on this, and then I have to go up to Effect Controls, and what I want to change is the position. So I'm clicking on that stopwatch, and that's saying right here it's going to be at this point. Then I'm going to move and click right there, and that says right here it's going to be at this point. Well, right now they're the same point, but oh, I meant to change the scale. Command Z. Okay. So going back here, it's the scale I want to change. And usually when I change scale, I change position too, so I'm going to double click both. Okay. And right here, I want the scale. You can see, and then the position. Oops. Like that. So now it zooms. And I can do a little bit more adjusting. Okay, so there's that. But as you watch, you determine how long or short you want it. You can trim at the edges. But what if I want to move something up here and make it a little bit shorter, and I want everything else to move? I could trim the edge and then have to select everything and move it up. A faster way is to click the empty spot and hit delete, and that'll move it up. Command Z, Command Z. The fastest way is to use the Ripple Edit tool. What this does is it lets you move things and then it adjusts everything in relation to that. So now it moved it up and it moved everything. So that's an easy way to save yourself some steps. Usually you're using the selection tool. Okay, so you're getting that how you want it. And you can see right now I have about 8 seconds. So I am about 1/10 of the way done with my 1-minute video. And it's looking pretty good. If you want to add some files, just remember to go through the process of old man, oh, Giphy. Old man looking out window. That one's kind of creepy. We'll do that one. Okay. Right click, save image as, put it in the folder where you got it, creepy man, and then make sure to import it, not from a downloads folder, but from that folder that you made. So you're going to go back to that folder that you made and add creepy man to your project. So make sure to do that process, that way you don't end up with any missing files. Let's see what else I needed to tell you about these edits. I think the main thing is export. So let's see. Resizing, trimming, ripple editing. So far we've been focusing on the video. We haven't added the music, but if you want to add the music, it's going to be on the audio track down here. If you want to add sound effects, you may want to do audio track 2. So you got the music on the main audio track, the sound effects on the other audio track. I'll show you about adjusting audio levels later on. You're basically using the same concept as you did up here, except you're going to be doing it on the audio track down here. So you're going to be making a keyframe to say, keep the music at this level until this point, and then another keyframe. Here, I'd like to change the music level. So that's how you'll do that. We'll get more into that in a later exercise, but for today, our focus is getting the story down. So this is the A-roll story down. I want to see this submitted at the end of class. I want to see it submitted 2 ways. I want the project file. So if you go save, the project file is the one labeled .prproj. When I open that, I'm going to see a bunch of blank media files because I haven't downloaded your pictures. But I want that turned in so I can see how your pieces fall together. And it's good for you to always have that for a backup in case you want to go back and edit later. Just remember you got to keep all your files for the project, because the project, if you open it without those files, it's just going to be an empty project. I'll show you guys after you turn some in. But the biggest, most important thing you need to do is export. So go up to File, Export Media. And our settings here are H.264, and then we do YouTube 1080. Now you can see that that changed the dimensions. So usually I recommend that, but let's go ahead and just match source high bitrate. That way we can keep the dimensions of our product. It's not going to be regular size for videos. It's going to be a little irregular, but it's going to keep the dimensions the way you had them in the project. Change the output name to where you would like the project to go. Go ahead and stick it in your same Gif Edit folder, but call it Old Man Full Story GIF or something like that, so you can see that this is the final story. Then hit export, and you can see it's saving as an MP4. I asked you guys to turn in an MP4 or a .mov file. So these are the 2 files you're turning into the assignment, the project file and the MP4. I should have access to all of these files based on the folder that you turned in Google. So I could download all your files and connect them and see them in your project. Probably not going to do that, but I want you to be aware that these 2 are the ones that are most important when you're working on a project to make sure you have. All the other media is important to keep with it. So that's what you'll turn in Google Class. So let me just show you where the assignment is. I'm going to Symbaloo, it's faster. Google Classroom, 2A, classwork, GIF video edit final submission. I want you to edit your GIFs together. We did that to make sure it tells a story. Export your sequence as an MP4 MOV file and attach, and then turn in your project file. It's going to vary based on what program you are using, but if you are using Premiere, it's PRPROJ. So you attach those 2 files in Google Class and hit turn in. And here's what it's graded on. Did you get the export? Did you get the project file? Are there fluent edits? The audio is something we will work on later, so don't worry about that if you didn't have time to get there. Is the idea original? Is it engaging? And that's what it's evaluated on. So let's get it done. Let me know if you need any help.